Um, yeah, so we work for the e-learning services, also under the Center of Teaching and Learning. My primary role here is to help faculty in terms of online teaching and learning. And I also did my master's in an online environment, so I'm pretty familiar with online learning in different perspectives. So today's presentation, Bren and I are going to go back and forth a little bit. I'm going to show you the Blackboard Learn interface, and then Bren will show you and discuss with you about how you can get some assistance when you run into troubles. Okay, so I'm going to switch my screen for a sec because we don't really need to show the presentation. I want to actually show you the system. So you're going to see the screen flicker a little bit, but don't be alarmed. Okay, so let me share screen again. Okay. So when you're at MacEwan's website, I would recommend that you bookmark this page, or you click on My Portal Login and bookmark this page. Many of you probably already been on it. This is our single sign-on page for the portal, which will also get you access to Blackboard. So I am not sure if Duo is turned on for student as well, but it is for sure for faculty and staff. So what that means is I need multi-factor authentication. So I need my phone with me to let the system know that I am Mavis. So once you're on this screen, you will see a little bit different than I do because I'm a staff member, also an instructor. So I have a set of different softwares and different links. But I do have a student view, so I'm just going to switch to that. So this will be really similar to what you're seeing. And you can see that you have access to your email, Blackboard Learn, My Student System. That's where you register for courses, find out your grades, pay your tuition fees. So there are lots of important links here and on the top here as well. So feel free to go through those. So if you wanted to go into your Blackboard course, you just need to click on Blackboard Learn. And it will take you to this page. Okay. Once again, your screen it will look a little bit different because I am in the system as a faculty member or staff member. So I'm going to see a set of information that's slightly different than you, but you will see information that's directed to you as a student. This is called the My Blackboard page. So everybody will have one, but everybody's My Blackboard page will look slightly different. If you are new to MacEwan, you're probably not going to see many courses here, but you will for sure start seeing the courses that you'll be taking in fall. And you'll probably see something like this bracket and says not currently available. That is totally normal. What that means is that your instructor isn't ready yet. They're just getting the course material ready. And once they're ready, they will let you have access. So if you click on it, it just nothing will it won't show you anything. I don't believe you could actually click on it. It probably isn't an active link if it said not currently available. Most instructor will use probably their Blackboard course for content delivery, but that's not a guarantee, not always. Some instructor choose a different delivery mode. So some courses will just stay permanently as not currently available. So make sure you check with your instructor, especially if you have mostly in-person classes. Just make sure you attend that first class and find out how your instructor is planning on sharing information with you. So I'm going to pop into a course and show you what the actual course look like. So to access any courses, you just need to click on the name of the course. And this is a very standard course shell. So once again, every instructor will enter different information, different activities, set up different activity to evaluate you. So every course you're going to see it will be different, but typically they will have a course dashboard. The course dashboard is there to give you some information about the course for just this course. So if you want to see information about the other course, you gotta have to go back to the My Blackboard page and switch to a different course. Some students like to use this area where your name is. It's called a global navigation menu. You can certainly use that to keep yourself apprised of information, but I recommend that you still pop into the course once a day and look through the course, especially at the beginning of the term. Look through the course, get familiarized with the course, and then check inside of the course every day. If you use the global navigation area for your information, once you check it, it will tell you that there's something new, but once you check it, that notification is removed. So if that is how you are getting your way around to the course materials, you will have a little bit difficult time in terms of finding that item again inside of the course. So I recommend that you come into the course, get familiar with it, and then check frequently. Okay. So most likely your course outline will be there as well. It sometimes will be a PDF file. You just need to click on it and download it, and the PDF reader will open on your computer. And sometimes it'll display on the screen. Sometimes it's going to be in your download folder or your desktop folder. And that is the same for Office software files, so Word files, PowerPoint files, any Excel file. Blackboard isn't going to open it for you. It will download it, and then you will use those software to open those files. Most likely, you will also have a link here where you can quickly get to email your instructor. Most of our courses only have just one instructor, so you are okay to email all instructor user, but I probably will use the select user function. Then I can look through who I wanted to email. Okay, rather than emailing all instructor users. Sometimes there are other individuals in the course as a sort of secondary instructor. So if Brent and I are helping an instructor, we might be in the course as an instructor. And we don't need to get your email, right? Like, especially if you're asking the instructor because you're not feeling well and you're not coming in today, we don't need to know that. That's between you and the instructor. So I highly recommend that you select user and pick which instructor you wanted to communicate with. And then another thing you might want to check is the My Grades tool. Again, not all instructor will deliver the grades on here, but most likely if there are activities online, let's say a online quiz or online assignment or discussions, and the instructor graded them, likely your grades will be under My Grades. Okay. Another thing I really recommend that you go through before classes starts is the student resources link. And I can show you how you can get to it from a different area as well in case your course is not available. So this area has all sort of useful information. So we actually have a student orientation on how you can access and find your courses on Blackboard and what your course will look like. And then it also go into more detail in terms of how to write tests, how to find your assignment, how to submit an assignment, how to participate in discussion, how to check your grades, how to self-enroll into courses. So I highly recommend that you take some time and go through these, and you can see that they're very short. Most of the videos are about a minute long. They should all be under 3 minutes, with the exception with like maybe one video is a little longer. So just make sure that you go through the tutorial beforehand if you want to learn how to use Blackboard more in depth. If you are participating in online courses or synchronous courses, likely your instructor will use Blackboard Collaborate. Some instructor might use Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, but majority of them will probably use Blackboard Collaborate. So it's really similar to WebEx. You're in a platform called WebEx today. It's really similar to Zoom. You can activate your mic and camera similar to what you are having today. So feel free to get familiar with that as well. And Kaltura is our streaming server. That's where all the videos that your instructor has recorded will be going, but likely they'll be in your Blackboard course. So you might not need to worry about it at this moment. But some instructors do ask for video assignment. Then if that is the case, I recommend that you come here and learn how to submit and create that video assignment. Okay, so I just need to get back to this screen. So typically, your courses is always divided into 2 areas. So you saw earlier already, no matter what I click here, if I click on email, the content of email just appear here. If I click on course align, the content of the course align appear here. So this is your course menu. And this is called the content frame. So basically whichever link or item that you access on the course menu, the inside of that link gets displayed in here. So if you can't find something in the course menu, that is probably a good time to like get in touch with your instructor as well. Just shoot your instructor an email, or you can ask in class. Just let the instructor know that you're looking for certain things and you can't find it. I also recommend that you take some notes, like go through the course and take some notes. Maybe you saw there's a 5% deduction per day for any late assignment. So make sure you maybe write that down so that you don't have to come back and try and find that later. So those are some good strategies that you can use in terms of online learning. And I'm gonna hand it over to Brent, and Brent will help you with in terms of when you get into a little bit of difficulties, what do you do?
Okay, thank you, Mavis. I just wanted to reply. Somebody had mentioned about the links to the sites that we're seeing. I'll be posting some in the chat room during my presentation. And there was also a question, can students with ISB conditions enroll in their courses? I'm not totally sure what ISB conditions refers to. I'm not sure, Mavis, if you're familiar, but that sounds like it might be an enrollment criteria that has to be met before you can enroll in your course. But that would be something that you could check with your program advisor, or potentially even the registrar's office. They would have a record of all student records, and if there's any conditions or holds being placed on your account, they can look that up and tell you what the next step would be. Oh, your microphone, Mavis. You're trying to say something?
Feel free to also chat with us later offline so that you don't have to discuss it in public.
Perfect, excellent. Thank you, Mavis. Okay, so let me just share my screen here, and I will get to my part of the presentation. Share that. Okay, so you should now be seeing my how to get help with technology problems screenshot here. My goal here is to basically illustrate and guide you into how to best support your technology problems. I'm basically trying to prevent all you students from getting the look on this guy's face in the image here, because he looks very frustrated, angry, and he's in too nice of a suit and tie to be looking that way. So we will start with your first line of support with MacEwan's technology with Blackboard. If you can't log into Blackboard, your password is incorrect, your username is incorrect, or if you get some sort of weird sign-in error, then your first line of defense would be to contact MacEwan's technology support. They will deal with all login issues. They have access to reset passwords, whereas Blackboard support does not have access to user records such as those. So if you try to log in, get any sort of strange or weird browser behavior, and are just unable to access your access Blackboard Learn, then absolutely take a look, contact technology support. And they, like I said, are our first line of support. They would let you know if there might be a system outage. We frequently do have system outages that not only affect MacEwan or Blackboard Learn, but also various other applications at the university. And technology support can let you know if there is a system-wide outage, and also let you know if that system-wide outage might be unplanned. Sometimes the systems do go down, maybe there might be a power outage. These things do happen. And when those things do happen, you can contact technology support as your first line of defense or support, because they are the first ones to know or be notified by ITS if there is an outage of any kind. And I will just post their email, and they also, technology support has a live support chat room. So you can chat with them in real time, or you could simply email them and they will be able to assist you with that. Unfortunately, it doesn't, let me just trying to just put my link in here.
I can get it for you if you just want to keep going.
Oh, I think I just got here with thanks for that, Mavis. I just had to learn how to find that button for WebEx. I appreciate that. So now I'm just going to paste the tech support contact information. So that is their live support channel that you can go on to, and they can assist you with not only Blackboard related issues, but obviously, like I said, with more generic issues that might not specifically be Blackboard related, but might prevent you from accessing that application. So then, so that would be your first line of defense. Your second line of defense is Blackboard support. We do have an email address, so I will post that in the chat here. That is basically just blackboard@macewan.ca. And that would be, there's no template for that. That is just a straight email to email. Email us from your MacEwan account if possible, so we can verify your identity and add as much information as absolutely possible to your issue. The other option is we do have a Google form that you can, a support form specifically for Blackboard. So there's the link that goes directly to our support form, and you just have to include information such as your date, the time, your email address, your phone number. Obviously include your course, but include your course's full name. So make sure to include the section as well, whether it's a lab or just a theory course. Also the location, whether you're on campus, off campus, also is very important information. Your computer operating system, also very good information, because some operating systems can handle Blackboard Learn a lot better than others can, as well as your Wi-Fi and browser information. Blackboard Learn is a browser-based application, so knowing what browser you're using, what version you're using, incredibly important for us to triage any issues that you might be having. You can also, on this Google form, you can send us a screenshot, an image of your issue, and you can actually do that with an exam as well. So if you are in the middle of an exam and you're stressing out, the first thing we recommend you do is to contact your instructor. Send them an email as soon as you can with the issue that you're having, so then they can either triage the issue with you, or they can contact Blackboard support themselves potentially, and we can work with them to resolve whatever issues you might be having. So if you ask the right people the right questions, generally you will get the right answer. So with that form, we also have, like I said, that Blackboard email that you can send us. if you're in the middle of an exam and you're stressing out, obviously you don't necessarily need to have fill out the form. You could just straight out email us at blackboard@macewan.ca and include as much relevant information as possible. So, and like I said, if you are submitting an image during an exam, it is not considered a violation of academic integrity. You do not have to worry. It is not sharing exam content. As long as the screenshot of the error message is only sent between you and your instructor, there is no violation. And for a Blackboard support technician like myself, a screenshot of an error message can be extremely helpful for us to assist you in resolving your issue with whatever technical issues you're currently having with the Blackboard Learn system. Okay, so now we will go to my next slide. And this one is generally in regards to the browsers. For an optimal experience, students should always use an updated Google Chrome browser and ideally have a secondary browser such as Mozilla Firefox or Microsoft Edge installed as a backup browser on your system. All browsers behave differently, some better than others. Some may be updated, some might not be updated. So always a good practice to have two browsers installed as a backup in case one is having some issues. Although Google Chrome is the gold standard when it comes to browsers for Blackboard Learn, it's been optimized for it. The collaborative tool, desktop tool that we use actually is optimized for Google Chrome specifically. And if you've used it before, you'll know this as well. So very important, and also to have them updated as well. Obviously, it's great to have the several browsers to have as a backup for testing, but you'll also need to make sure that they're up to date because that will affect functionality. Even if it is a relatively newer version, it still should be completely up to date because you will see tools not function properly if that is the case. Okay, so, and to segue into this, students have access to a Blackboard Learn student support site, which is hosted by the Blackboard Learn company. I've just posted a link to that here into the chat room. So that will basically bring you to Blackboard's own version of their support site. They'll have, if you go to it, there's a section from the link I sent you that has a common issues section that you can click on the links to go to. There's popular pages that are obviously just that, very, very frequently visited. And then there's also a search box in the top area. So if anything does not make sense, or if anything there is not listed, you can do a search for whatever it is in the top search bar, click search, and it'll give you a breakdown of options to view on this Blackboard help page. Also to note, on the bottom of that link on that page, there is an original experience button and an ultra experience button. The version of Blackboard Learn that we are using at MacEwan is the original experience. So you're always going to want to refer to the original experience documentation, screenshots, video. So just to be aware of that is obviously the difference between those two. And then, yeah, we obviously always recommend a hardwired Ethernet internet connection from your laptop to your cable modem. I know this isn't always practical because a lot of hardware they're creating laptops do not come a standard with an Ethernet or an Ethernet port. So you can get adapters that will work with them. So if you have a newer computer, you may not have an Ethernet port on your system. But if you want to look up ways, there should be some adapters that you can buy, as well as a $10 Ethernet cable. And if possible, if you do have close access to your modem, if you do have a hardwired connection during an exam or test specifically, then if you have any internet connectivity issues, almost all the time you will see those with Wi-Fi connections. They may not drop for a long period of time, but they do drop off intermittently, and that could essentially lock you out of your exam while you're taking your exam. So if possible, yes, a hardwired connection would be the gold standard. The university does also have a few areas on campus where they do have ports available. You might just have to go to technology support to request a network cable. That would be something they would be able to supply to you if they have the supplies available. And then lastly here, close all software programs, streaming services, and disconnect other internet devices connected to your local network to ensure maximum bandwidth. Blackboard Learn requires a steady, consistent um, minimum bandwidth amount of speed for everything to run functionally and smoothly. If that's not the case, you could get connection issues, and that could be because you are running, let's say, Netflix or YouTube on the same laptop that you're taking your test on, and you may inadvertently be watching videos, and that obviously is not ideal. A lot of students will, and we do recommend this, reboot their computer before any major tests, assignments. That way, that will disconnect and stop any of these programs that are running on your computer that could affect your bandwidth that you might not even realize are running at the time. So that's includes obviously your browser, the computer, and like I said, anything that uses your streaming devices on your laptop or on any other devices on that network. So if you're at home and you're working on your laptop, you might have a iPad and another laptop, and your smartphone could also be connected to your network. All of them could be draining or taking advantage of your bandwidth and would affect functionality. So again, if you could turn those off or at least turn off the Wi-Fi connectivity to them, if you're using your home Wi-Fi, highly recommended in that respect. And so we have, in regards to browsers, Blackboard also does support what's called a browser checker. So this will let you know whether you are currently using a supported version of a browser that Blackboard Learn is optimized to use. There's basically only 4 browsers: Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, and Microsoft Edge. They all will work. They're all supported by Blackboard Learn, but again, Google Chrome is the gold standard, and some institutions are only allowing Firefox to be used with Blackboard Learn. So that tells you right there that those 2 are your go-to browsers at all times, whenever possible. And in regards to supported browsers, here's a link to their help site that offers more information, as well as special configurations that might need to be done in order to viewing content properly on your browser that you are currently using. The other tool that we have or resource I would say, is the video streaming site that we have. It's the Cultura Media Center. So Mavis showed a little breakdown of a Blackboard orientation playlist, and this is where that's coming from. So this is our Cultura Media Center, where you can stream video. It's a streaming video platform integrated with the Blackboard Learn to record, upload, edit, and deliver video content to any device. Very powerful tool, and likely you will see it in your classes if you haven't seen it already. And then the final item I have here is the e-learning services has a microsite that we use to support students and faculty. So I will share that link specifically to the Help for Students section. And this is essentially a Google site that we've created. It has the student Blackboard orientation video playlist that we saw earlier that Mavis had showed us, as well as additional information on tools like the Blackboard mobile app, the Blackboard Collaborate real-time desktop conferencing tool, Cultura Media streaming video platform, which I just talked about. It also gives you access to the self-enroll Blackboard Learn student orientation course. So you can go on there and you can self-enroll yourself into this orientation course and take a look at Blackboard, see how it looks, how it operates before your class even starts, if you wanted to, or during the semester if you wanted to play around in a safe sandbox environment. That's another helpful tool. And also on that site, there's also our Getting Help section at the bottom that has a lot of the links I already had posted to that support request form, Google form, as well as MacEwan's ITS tech support chat room. And that pretty much does it with my part of the presentation here. So I will hand it over to Mavis, and I will just disconnect my sharing. Stop. There we go. Right.
You can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you good.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. So I also want to share with you a little bit of online learning tips. So first of all, I recommend that you find a physical space, if you can, at home dedicated to studying. Try not to use the bedroom if you could, just because you wanted to have that sort of a little bit of a separation between work and leisure or sleep. If you can, also make sure that physical space is close to the Wi-Fi router or modem. If you don't have that hardware connection, if you are going to rely on Wi-Fi, just make sure you're really close. So we've seen people who are in the basement, and then the Wi-Fi connection could be, the router could be upstairs. If you don't have extenders, sometimes that could be a problem. And try to create a distraction-free space for yourself. So put your phone away, put your tablets away. And I'll talk a little bit about this later as well. Okay. So next thing I will talk about is how you can keep yourself sort of on track with everything. Earlier, I showed you that in your Blackboard course, some instructor will use sort of a calendar to show you all the due dates and all the activities and what's going on. If all your instructor uses that calendar on Blackboard, you can actually see all of them on the same calendar. If not, make sure you create your own calendar, write down all the due dates, when the activities will be due, and also when you plan on starting them, right? Not just that the due date, because then if you overlook the due date, it might be due tomorrow and you're just starting now. So make sure you give yourself a period of time to work on that activity as well, and do some to-do lists. I found personally to-do lists is really satisfying because I can cross everything that I've done off, and that made me feel like I have a sense of accomplishment. Make sure you check your courses and your email daily. This is your MacEwan email. You can forward your MacEwan email to a different email address, but I highly recommend that you check your MacEwan email. It is becoming more common that communication that you are sending to faculty and other services department on campus should really come from your MacEwan email address, because otherwise we don't know who that is from, really. You could be sending an email address that says, I have 6fingers@hotmail.com. We don't know who you are, right? So if you use your MacEwan email, then it's a little bit more private and safer. And of course, don't share your password with other people. And if you can, try to work and get ahead of the schedule. Look through the course material. If there's some low-hanging fruit activities, get that done right away. Especially some instructor will let you work ahead of schedule. Make sure you do that as well. Look up some strategy on time management. Personally, I use a strategy called Pomodoro. That's Italian for tomato. So it's basically a timer strategy. You deep focus for, I believe is 10 minutes, and you have a break and then you just kind of repeat, and then you have a longer break after however many sessions. So just make sure that you have those strategies ahead of time, get into a habit. Okay. And then I want to also talk a little bit about setting some goals so you have a sense of direction. So when you're setting goals, remember SMART goals. SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. And don't worry about your goals maybe too small or too specific, because those are your goals. Don't compare your goals with other people. Your friend might be, I want to be a financial banker and make $5 million by the age I'm turn 30. That's fine. That's his or her goal, right? Your goal is yours. Make sure you focus on those. Okay. And then last but not least, be kind and reward yourself. Take a break, hang out with friends, relax with social activities, safely, of course, and do some exercise. And make sure you build a community of learning. At least Brand and I, we do this a lot. We teach each other when we are learning new softwares. So even sometimes your instructor may ask you to do a optional activity, a discussion, maybe help each other out on discussion, answering questions and stuff like that. Make sure you participate in those as well. Sometimes I just found that if you have a cohort that will kind of bounce ideas off or help you study and motivate each other, those are very good strategies as well. So good luck with your study, and Brent and I will see you at your convocation in a few years.